We're live. Call to action, family. We are here with the savior of the movie trivia showdown, the one and only Mr. Right there, Mike Kalinowski. Damn it, Paul.
Hello, everyone.
And with me we have Nat, who was amazing, and then two haters who decided to just crash the stream.
Yeah. I don't see the normal haters on the stream. What's going on? Where are they? Are they hiding? I show up and they don't want to be here anymore.
Oh, I'm right here, Mike. I'm right here.
I see you, buddy. I see you.
They tried to have it without me, but I wouldn't let them. I wouldn't let it happen.
Like old school season 4, we silenced them, Mike. Don't worry. All right. And before we get into the breakdown of today's matches, Paul, I believe you had a question for Mr. Kalinowski.
I had a comment because I can't actually stay. Actually, I do have to go to work in like 10 minutes, so I need to be here just a little bit to represent. I just want to say, like The Rock says in Moana,
okay,
you're welcome. Oh, you always say it's the doubt and rooting against you that fuels you. Well, you're welcome to Billy Belford, myself, and most of the Action Army for giving you all the fuel you could possibly need to make this most recent run, which I will begrudgingly admit has been pretty damn impressive. And
so really this is the Action Army's win is what you're saying.
Yes, that's what it is, the Action Army feels. So I think I might have to start rooting for you to get what I want. That's what I'm taking away from this.
Okay,
it is a win for the fine fellows of corruption who supported Mike and Chance and Stacy and Tim and Ken and everybody. Paul, don't take credit for the future champion, hashtag Mikey 3 belts of this league.
Right, buddy.
Well, Jan.
Ooh, okay.
The mortal enemies of Mike, that's our little hashtag sign we're making this thing.
And it's not catching
on. Fair
enough. Okay. Paul, do you have any more wrong opinions to add to this?
Mine are always right. I'm just going to sit back and watch.
It was weird against Rachel and San Diego when people started putting for me in the poll that I was going to win. That was weird. Usually I'm the underdog, and I like that. So that was a weird one. And now this one with Bateman, Christian threw up a poll like right before, and they had me ahead a little bit. I was like, what's going on? It's a little weird. So, take it for what it is.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Paul, for your wisdom, as always.
Anytime I have to leave for now, I do salute the rest of the Army, the real Army, and Mike. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Take care.
I'll hold it down for you, Paul.
You guys, you're the Action Army and everything, and you're all supposed to be, the Army all for one, one for all, and you stick together. You guys got some problems going on over there. I don't, you're two boys.
You see, we don't have problems, Mike. We support Andrew Guy, and we hope that Trader maybe breaks up the Horseman and comes back to us. But for now, Ben is disavowed. He's excommunicated.
Playing the long game. That's our hope.
Okay.
Is he really? Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of Ben Bateman.
Yes.
Your match today.
Good old Benjamin.
Yes, Benny Boy. Mr. Ben Benaroo. Kicking Paul out for a much more worthy person here. Hopefully she comes through eventually.
No.
While we wait for her, or not. This is already a lot of fun. Mike.
Yes.
How did you prepare for the match today against Mr. Benny Bateman?
It's funny because this, I was focused on Inner Geekdom the whole year, and that was my goal and my thing that I wanted to do. And then teams, I had said about chances, like we're going to make that run for the belt for this kid and get him a belt. I didn't say anything about singles. I didn't say, I'm going to go for a belt or anything with that. And then Janine was my first match back, and since Clark's it was over a year. And that's when the Mikey 3 belts hashtag happened up. And I remember them saying it was going to be Janine and I and Guy and Bateman. And the winner of me and Janine played the winner of Guy and Bateman, and the losers would play each other. So there was that on the line, knowing that was coming up. And then, I won against Janine. She played a great match, played a great game. And then Ben won his match, so we were here together. It's one of those players. It's like I've never fought him in singles. I've always wanted to. I mean, I remember,
Ooh. Froze.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great screenshot while we... Mike, just to let you know, you are frozen. So hopefully this can be fixed. But, while we wait for it, it was truly an amazing experience watching him beat Ben Bateman. I unfortunately won't be on the episode today. But, actually, let's do this. Wow. Ooh.
I lost you guys.
Okay.
All right. Were you guys did you see me?
Yeah. So we lost you at so wherever that is.
So it was me and Bateman. We hadn't fought each other ever. And Bateman is great. Bateman is a great player. He's kind of, I joke, he's kind of like those savants that were like, he knows numbers, like his movie release dates. And I think he's, one of those guys where if he records something, he remembers it. It's in his head. It's always there. But on the other hand, he's very, I wouldn't say we're close in age. I'm a bit older than him, but our movie base is very similar years of what we know very well to what we don't know very well. What I looked at, not so much the knowledge, I knew he wants a belt. I knew that was the one thing over everything, that he's played so hard. He's come so close so many times, but doesn't have a belt yet. So I knew, I was like, if I can just focus and go for that. But at this point I'm playing for 3 belts. So I was like, well, here we go. But singles, and people always ask me, like, how do you study for singles and teams? I don't. There's no studying, and I know everyone knows my inner geekdom studying that I go insane for. But it's a definable amount of movies. You can, it might be like 250 movies, but it's still 250 movies. Mm-hmm. Singles and teams, it's, I don't know, tens of thousands of movies that you can't do anything. So it was just focusing and hoping to hit my strengths that I can do. Ben, I didn't know what I want to put on the wheel, but it's like, well, we'll go Bond. Comic book movies he's pretty good at, so I couldn't use that against him. So
he did want to go back into Inner Geekdom in like season 3 and 4.
Yeah, he talked about that. He wanted to. Says like, come on in. I don't even remember what I put. I know I put Bond, and I put maybe I did put comic book movies. But I knew Bond. I was like, I'll hold him on that. And I figured he would do movie release dates and maybe Oscars. So for Oscars, what I did was I just went back and studied every year who won, any notable, like what actor got 3 in a year or 3, consecutive or 2 consecutive, stuff like that. So I was prepared for Oscars as best as I could. But then, I get drama or thrillers. I get thrillers. And surprised myself, I was like, well, went, 4 for 4. So, it's there. The knowledge is there. So I just got to make sure I'm playing the game I can play.
Okay. So,
what do you want? Ask away. I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah. Oh no. So we're having some minor streaming issues. I'm trying to fix it. So my brain isn't really fully here. I'm sorry, but
Jesus, James, I'm showing up here. You're not fully 100%.
Hey, as the person who you gave the Inner Geekdom belt to, I think I'm second in command here, maybe.
Amateurs Bush League over here. Jesus.
The hell, James.
I run a somewhat type shit.
Well, yeah, there we go. That really. There we go.
Yeah. So I'm honestly just proud of your win today. It was an incredible match.
I'm going to say that I wasn't focused on singles. I didn't think about singles.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, up until this run I've been in, I was a good player in singles. I was good. Mm-hmm. But now just I maybe it's just the way I've changed my mentality and stuff. It's really kind of focused and driven me. But I had coming up, it was Bateman, then Schneider, then Oyama. Bateman was the win I wanted. Oyama, if I would have beat Schneider and gone to Oyama, I don't know what I would have done. Because that kid he's like bored. Like you watch him and you're like, how is he so young and knows so much? Like I say with Ben and I, like some people I play, like if we go earlier than 80s, both of us will be in trouble. Or I can give them like 70s, or I can give them classic, we'll be in trouble. With Oyama, I couldn't do that. because his classic stuff is insane. So I didn't think that far ahead. Schneider, I have no storyline or no beef with. So there was no. It was a match. It was a person I would never have played before. So that was all it. So it was Bateman that I wanted to beat. That was the win I needed to have for myself. So I leaving that day, we'll get into the other match later, but it was a good win against a great, and storyline and everything like that. It's a good one.
I would say it's bordering on a great win because you put up a very good point total, and that's ignoring your 3 points in round one.
Yeah,
like if you had even gone up to 5 in round one, that would have been a blowout game.
Yeah, let me ask you.
You did very well.
Yeah, it was. It's always funny. I give Frankie Numbers so much crap because he's always betting against me, and all that. But come into the season, my stats are going to be pretty damn good. But what do you guys feel about Mr. Bateman? Because I noticed during the match he's at me a little hard. I'm doing a little. The old Benjamin showed up again. The old heel likes to mess with me and stuff. I was like, that's not the Benjamin that we know now. So how do you guys feel about that? Are you like, oh, there he is? The guy that we love, we're going to get him back in our good graces of the warm arms of the Action Army.
I don't care how he acts. Like if he's like showing some heel tendencies or whatever, I don't care. He betrayed our family, and I just can't support that.
Okay, well, good enough. Good enough.
Oh my God. Okay, after 20 minutes and me finagling OBS, we're finally live. So,
okay.
Breaking it down for what y'all missed in this first 20 minutes. Benny Boy Bateman sucks, and for some reason he's a heel again.
Yeah.
And Mike had an incredible game. Fuck Frank Janish. And speaking of Frank Janish, I want to get back to this later.
I do love Frank, and I love proving him wrong every single time. So I'm going to keep on doing that. And like I said on his tweets, he was talking about tweets or his stats and this and that. I go, Frankie, your numbers mean two things: Jack and shit.
Okay, so I have one more point to make. Then we're going to add our lovely Alex Mack here. Not total shit, because prior to the Shire Wolves match, which we might get to some vague extent,
okay,
your team, Corruption, has the highest accuracy rate of any team ever.
You damn right.
80.2%, I think, is where you're at. That is incredible.
And I owe it to Chance. Chance is phenomenal. Christian came at us with. I didn't know Chance who he was last year when we were. Oh, look who it is! Look who it is!
I am so psyched.
I didn't see your little face in this thing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so disappointed."
I want you to know, you actually converted my husband to be a fan.
Oh,
you did. You did. It was the Kalinowski Smets match.
Yep.
And literally, because it was reaction, and my husband, he's not a huge fan of WWE storylines or the characters and everything behind it. But sorry, I just had a popsicle, so my tongue's blue. Sorry. Anyway, but it was just knowing the genuine passion you and Smets and so many players behind it have behind this. So you definitely converted my husband into being a huge fan. So I definitely thank you for that. But also, Ben can suck a bag of dicks. Oh, God. I've been wanting to get that out of my system. No. Oh, God. I've been wanting to get that out of my system for such a long time. No, Ben can't be a member of the Action Army ever again. It's just, it can't happen.
You guys seem split on this. Half your Action Army wants him back.
And also half the army is wrong, Mike.
I'm sorry.
I would rather have you join the Action Army. I am not kidding. I would rather have that 159%. I don't care what it is. To me, you're like in the gray area between it. You're like Smets. You're not so much being an asshole. You're not being a super duper face. You're being your version of yourself. Only exemplified, and you're just aiming for the belts regardless of how that makes you out to be. And I appreciate that. I really do. So watching the match today, excuse me, do you have a question for the class, James?
I have an answer. I'll challenge you. So Ben Bateman is our old divorced father. He's drunk. He's making excuses.
Anymore,
he's dating some.
We don't talk to our father anymore.
Mike Kalinowski is
No.
the great stepdad who comes in on a leather jacket and a motorcycle and says, "Hey kid, you want to go shopping and just treat you to the best day ever." Mike Kalinowski is the future of the Action Army, and y'all were held up on our.
I think James, you just equated it as like, so I guess Ben Bateman and Guy are kind of like Will Ferrell, and I'm Mark Wahlberg. Wasn't that the movie they played like two fathers to each other's and the two dads?
So Mark Wahlberg is the cool new dad, and Will Ferrell is like the old boring stepdad. Yeah, which means Andrew Guy is like Rose Byrne or whoever it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see that. Not gonna lie. There you go. Let's say, so glad live is finally coming up. Oh, yep, there it is. Daddy's home, Jake, for sure. It's but not kidding though. Let's say we have a question for some fans that are just joining in.
Go for it.
Specifically, I know you were a big fan of Schmodown long before actually joining in specifically. You know, who are some of your like initial characters that you were particularly inspired by when you started coming in as a face?
Two, Roca, because he was my friend before all this. I knew him way pre all of this. So he was huge for me. But the other big one, I remember when Christian was talking to me about coming to the Schmodown, I you know, how you go in trivia, can you do trivia? And he said,
You froze again.
No.
Oh.
Right.
Oh no.
I'm going to, oh, there it goes. Okay. You got it?
Yep.
So he said, watch Clark Wolf. He said, you guys are very similar. You're both performers. I have a feeling you guys would be very similar as far as a male-female version of each other. So those are two that I watched early on. We're Clark and Roca. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So when it came to putting together your character behind the knowledge,
you know,
where did that come from?
Because, I mean,
like, where did this come from?
The characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I think
costumes. Yeah.
So, because I started off as kind of like a John Wicky hitman, you know. Brandon Hanna is kind of now just kind of taking my, you know, leftovers and scraps and kind of formed a cute little character with his little note card, which I have. And so he's cute. I like him. It's like kind of like an alternate, like what could have happened with me, with a lesser competitor. But you know, it was just, and I think then it was like the whole kind of smarmy, charming, like finger gun, this thing. I saw a gif of Liam Neeson doing that somewhere, and I was like,
oh, son of a bitch. Damn it.
That's right. I can
I wasn't a full face because people were still like, nah, something's going on with him. And then the turning point for it, I guess, was All the Belts podcast with Aaliyah and Dan. They did an alternate thing. They're like, hey, Mike, we're going to have you call in, and we want this to be like your Mike from a different reality, a different, you know, Earth or whatever that is in charge of the Schmodown. You're the ultimate puppet master. And I went on this like half-hour thing, and Christian called me up, and he's like, dude, you're going heel. After I heard that, you are going heel. So we just got to find a way to do it. And then, you know, Ben and Guy were at the height of, you know, just coming in, just owning it from the beginning of what they were doing. And
yes, we are superior in many ways.
Here we are.
I'll say this as much as I give to see, and this is not just Schmodown, this is Action Army, the podcast. They have, most brands and people that create brands find their way over time. And like I'm saying right now with what I'm doing, it's finding its way over time. Those guys had it from the beginning with suits and the way they're presenting themselves, to carrying that over into the Schmodown and a career. Now that's Action Armies that they're on the red carpets. You know, that is hats off to them, and it's a testament to how good they are and what they do. So, you know, I mean, taking the hat off and the kayfabe for a minute there, just seeing how good they are at what they do, you know, it's inspiring. But that whole thing is where it came from, with the Christian saying, hey, we're going to turn you heel. And, you know, it's the old story that the villains always have more fun. So,
well, I mean, that being said, like, I mean, villains, you started getting a lot more popularity. You started getting a lot more fans when I don't like to say when you turned face, but when the transition definitely happened when that major loss against Team Action, was during that team match. That was oh my gosh. I remember like watching that match and I was like, oh, it's happening. Oh my gosh. It was awesome.
Possibly the greatest match of all time. At least of that season, because it's fucking incredible.
It's gonna
happen. And Christian says like you lose, your goal, it's turning, but if you win, we're still gonna do it. So I didn't want to lose because I think it was the first time I ever spun Bond. And I wanted to win, but on this other side of me, I was kind of like, I really wanted to lose because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
That was a bittersweet loss. You never want to lose, but if I was going to lose, that was the match to do it in. And then just to see having the fun to act and do all the storylines behind the scenes and build all that was, and then
and you did so well. I mean, it wasn't just you that actually like made it a really great the scenes and everything, but obviously it was between Roxy and I mean, just like everyone being, I just remember seeing the looks of shock around everyone, and I was like, I remember thinking there was like only 2 or 3 points. Because I didn't grow up in the WWE world. I didn't know what face or tweener or anything was. So I literally went into watching this thinking it was real. And so I remember watching.
It is real, Alex. What are you talking about?
No, but I literally would watch a lot of the stuff and I'm like, okay, clearly fake. But I remember it was that match and the Rachel Cushing match. And I was like, that just felt like legitimately mean. That felt real. Pulled at the heartstrings. And I remember that was like the first match where I almost cried.
Yeah.
It was that match where I was like, oh my gosh, you can tell they worked so hard for it, but they didn't win. So it was, I mean, coming from like again, I mean, like I didn't know anything about that growing up. It's very fresh to me. So it was definitely really awesome.
Good. Yeah.
Executed so well.
Yes, it's always so much fun to do.
Speaking of almost crying, I do want to move on because we are talking about everything you're doing this week.
Okay.
Fuck Schneider. That was a. Let me say it.
Like, it was. I had to play 2 matches in a row.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Did you know about that, by the way?
I'm sorry?
How much did you know beforehand that you were playing 2 matches in a row?
I knew. Yeah, okay. It's his storyline and whatnot, but it could have been avoided. But that's the great thing about Christian. He makes it work. He does the storyline. People give me such shit, and to this day, I get it about challenging Mara during the live event. We were all in on that. I wasn't going to go through with that unless Mara and Rachel were okay, because Rachel was up for that at the time. We all talked, and Misty's like, Ben, me, and Schneider, the schedules only worked out to have this one day of filming. So Ben was like, they were like, well, you win, you play 2 matches. And he's like, we'll do story with it, and we'll go for it. I'm like, let's do it. That said, we both didn't play great. We were both kind of stumbling around. But it was my loss. Schneider didn't beat me. I beat myself. It was and here's the thing. Now, watching it now, I could have used it to my advantage because the way and it's funny because to watch the comments about it, Schneider jumped in to challenge me before I finished the answer, and Christian had not ruled yet. What I should have done is gone repeat the question, because there was a brief period before I said anything where they could have, and I could have challenged it, because if you watch again, there's a moment where I'm just like, and it's paused, and I should have said repeat the question. They would have repeated it again, and I would have heard it right.
Yeah.
And again, I would have hated to get that point right, because I'm sure Schneider then would have jumped on with a challenge. But if you're going to play it that way, you got to play it that way, And I've never played Schneider, and Schneider is. We all have our things in how we play. And Schneider is known for jumping on stuff, and that's his thing. And it did throw me for a second. I got out of my head, but like I said at the end, I wasn't going to win on a challenge. I couldn't do that. So we are here. It is a. It's a different path now to Mikey 3 belts. It's a little longer, but I'm not out of it. So I'm going to refocus and kind of.
So,
but if there's a way
to, again,
I mean, you can't really get much more epic in your win against the Shire Wolves. Obviously, I remember just watching it, and I was typing that tweet out.
Alex.
Oh, sorry.
He hasn't won against the Shire Wolves. They still have the match to tape. It's not being aired yet.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. There's not a win against the Shire Wolves. There's not a match that we know about. There is the match upcoming against them.
Coming up against them, absolutely.
So that's the question. So
You're inevitable.
it's like it coming out in like a week or two. We don't know the results. How do you feel about that? How excited are you
Playing the Shire Wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna say this. I wanted to play Odd Couple. That was the one. I was like, I felt better. I feel better. You know, Chance and I were in that audience when they were playing. We were playing, you know, and again, I hate to say this when you're like playing both match or you're in the audience playing and you're like, well, we could have beat them. You know, Chance and I always play next to each other and see how we do. But we're more concerned with Shire Wolves because they're who they are. You know, Odd Couple, I was like, we could beat them. We can take them. So when they lost and Shire Wolves got the belts back, we look at each other and we're like, we're in trouble. You know, but you know, we got to play how we got to play. I mean, there's nothing. You know, Chance is going to be the odd one because he's never played a speed round. Yeah. I know how good I am at that and what I can do with speed round, but also I've never played speed round in regular you know, singles or teams. So inner geekdom is, you know, I can get the question. I know what it is. And I'll get it. You know, it's like, I don't know what to do. So
do you feel like your strategy, obviously, like you mentioned, going up against IG, you only have so many movies. It's a lot more concentrated versus like singles or teams. Your strategy behind it is a little bit different. Do you feel like your strategy when I'm actually playing the games is all that much different about how you're using your challenges, your JTEs, or anything like that?
Absolutely. You know, you want to save those JTs. Me personally, I want to save them for the third round. That's when you need them the most, especially on your 5-pointer. Because like Chance and I have proven, like I think it was Karate Kid, like, you know, naming the tagline or the quote. We used our JTs to get there. We didn't have it right away. But there was a match early on where I used one in round 1, but I was able to pull the point. You know, so you never want to use them in round 3. I think I wrote round 2. Round 2 is, I think, useless to use them again. Because you can get one repeat on the choices if you go multiple choice. I don't feel to use them in round 2. I have a feeling Shire Wolves will take opponents and spinner's choice off the wheel because Rachel hates them. So, I mean, we're going to go Bond, obviously. If they're, you know, Rachel could study it, but it's the 25, 24 films over 6 decades. So you're not going to study it too deep. They'll do horror, maybe Oscars, but you know, who knows? Yeah. And Chance and I we're debating right now. We don't know what we're going to use for our second slice. We got a couple. We have his strength, of course, with Pixar, but you know, they might be pretty good at Pixar. So we'll see. I don't know.
Do you mind me asking? I know some teams, they like to, in order to have like team chemistry, they like to train with each other. Sometimes they message each other throughout the day. One person's like, I'll watch these movies this week, you watch these movies, whatever. Yeah. Do you like to talk to each other a lot, or do you guys like to be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this genre or whatever, and let's go our separate ways?
He lives in Arizona, as you know, so we just text each other. We text all day leading up to the match, just questions. We just throw questions at each other all day long. Like I like my last match I had I think it was against Bateman, the Coraline question.
Yeah.
I got that because Chance asked me that question like a week before. That's the only reason I knew that. So it helps. It helps. But what's great about Chance and I is our strengths are not the same. You know, he knows Pixar. He knows animated. He knows family. He knows classics. He knows Oscars. I know comic book movies. I know action adventure. I know fantasy sci-fi. I know 80s and 90s, which he doesn't, not as strong at. So our strengths and weaknesses complement each other so well. And the cool thing about Chance and I is looking at all of our matches, it's either been I've played the best game or he played the best game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a pretty epic match, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say there's we had a few people in the chat. Garth actually said he wants a exhibition match in celebration of the new James Bond title.
Yeah.
Exhibition match with everyone in tuxedos and other outfits from the James Bond movies.
I would love an exhibition match. I think it's like, I know Tim Franco, my cohort in Corruption, would love to do it. I'm kind of scared with him because he wouldn't have gone multiple. Because my I think Dan wants to do it. We want to do it, but I think Christian, he's holding it. I think maybe he said maybe next year. But at this point, I'm the only one who's been spinning it and the only one doing well at it. So I kind of want to keep it that way.
Mhm.
Becoming like Clark and with horror, or Rachel with Middle Earth, it's my category, Maybe
Mhm.
I
In that case, you could maybe call it.
I think I should probably put my face on that slice by now. But I think
Ooh, maybe if you,
my face to be on that wheel, perhaps.
I mean,
you know, you can
you got the new wheel
pull a-
now. Just weld your face onto the slice, and it'll just stay on the wheel forever.
pull a Bateman or a Mance, and like if you win so many matches, like perfect rounds or whatever, maybe get your face on there. I'm sure it can happen. Yeah, absolutely. Let's say Nat. So do you have any questions specifically? I know we've kind of talked about a whole bunch.
Yeah, I don't really have a question right now because, like I said, I've just reacted to there's two matches right before I came on, so I'm kind of like, my mind's like all jumbled right now. But I'm just have a beer.
Mhm.
Well, I know. So we are going to talk about the future of hashtag Mikey 3 belts, because that has to be talked about. But Melissa had a question she wanted to ask.
Go for it.
I did. So I feel like I represent or I don't personally represent, but there is a contingent of people who want to see Mikey Face happen again. So I would like to plead my case, if you would permit.
Go for it.
So, okay. So, I feel like, personality wise, I feel like the people with the best personality, the magnetic personalities, things like that, are getting put into the heel category. Or at the very least, like in between, like anti-hero. Like I think you would consider yourself like in between, anti-hero type person. I don't think anyone could argue you use a pure face. I think a lot of people could argue you use a heel. People could argue is in between. I don't think anyone's arguing you as a face character.
Right.
So, I really do feel like a lot of people with those magnetic personalities are getting pushed towards that end of the spectrum. And I do feel like there should be someone with that kind of personality representing the face side of it. Which I know a lot of people, I think Bibbs is kind of taking up that mantle now. But gosh, you in that Captain America outfit, how is it not you?
It's interesting because I think it was before the Bateman pre-interview where I was like, people are trying to label me face heel, and I'm kind of doing my own thing. But I think people see that because, of course, what happens after the match, especially with like Rachel or whatnot, or I don't do kind of theatrical stuff on stage. And I think that one of the main reasons is, and my girlfriend told me this, she kind of brought to my attention, my past, I'd say 5 matches have all been high stakes. It's either been number 1 contender matches, stuff like SMAT, or championship matches where I can't mess around during the match. I can't do heel stuff, heel. And I would love to. I want to talk so much trash to Ben during our match and Smets and Rachel, but I can't because if you slip up once, you're done. You got to be in that mindset of winning. And then I'll never trash talk someone at the end of a match, as long as it's a great match, because they played their heart out. Every one of my matches I've been in has come down to the wire lately. There's been no blow. The Founding Fathers, that almost was a blowout.
I mean, even we saw like your first day with Corruption, your first like moment of heel against Jared Habon, you come in with the roses, handshake. Even in a KO, you still thank him for the great match. You've always been respectful. You've always been nice.
Right.
There is an argument that you're a face despite the amazing shit talk you have and the
What?
incredible way you eat ice cream.
I think what happens is, like, it's definitely post interviews. That's where it comes in. But also, I think, because in Christian, he's trying to build this league. I love to interact with the fans online. I love to do the Facebook group, and that's where I'll do the heel stuff, especially. That's where the character. That's where it all comes out, And I think, like you said, the bigger personalities, Mel, that where they gravitate to the heel. I think because Christian needs those performers, because like you got to remember, not everyone in the Schmodown is either an actor or performer. So they are who they are. Like Jeff Schneider is Jeff Schneider. Who he is in real life is who he is in the Schmodown. Mark Andreyko is Mark Andreyko. Just this nice, warm guy. There are those other people that create characters. Like Dan Murrell is Dan Murrell. Like he's so nice outside of the ring, and a gentleman, and he's humble, and he's Roca, but Roca's a performer, and you see Roca, and you're just like, that he's the gold standard to me of performer in this Schmodown. So
and we do have a hard out in about 15 minutes, so I do want to
talk about
the big question here. Oh,
yeah.
Bye, Melissa. Mikey 3 belts.
Yes.
We saw that you had a path.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, didn't go through, but now you are against Janine again in the tournament. Do you see? It's not like official, but I believe she's lower seeded than Liz, and you're higher seeded than Ben. So I believe you're against Janine.
Let me say this. I was not expecting to play the singles tournament. Christian had told myself, Ben, and Schneider said, "Okay, guys, whoever loses, whoever doesn't go to New York, you guys are not doing the tournament because we'll be too far along." So I had said, "Okay, I lose, I'm out." And I think that's the same way against Shirewolves. If we don't beat them, we're not in the tournament. We're going to take a seat. I think the tournament will decide who wins. And then we might play like whoever doesn't win the tournament, the top 2 teams, whatever one loses, we would play them for a number 1 contender match next season. I think we're out of that. So for myself, it's like, okay, all I've got to look forward to is, well, I've got the Shirewolves, but then if I don't win that, all I have to worry about is Inner Geekdom defending it at the end of the year. But so now here I am faced with the challenge, and Christian has opened it up. It's like, no, we're going to get Ben and Mike. You guys are, if you want, are in the tournament. So this Mikey 3 belts thing came about not by me. I wanted the Inner Geekdom in the teams. I didn't think singles, and the fans took it. And now I'm like, well, if I look at it right, and I look at the bracket, Janine, one more. I think it's three or four matches for a belt again. So it's like, it's just a different path than what I was just on less than 48 hours ago. So for that singles belt, it's still attainable. So I think if I do it, and I got to talk to Christian and I got to talk to everyone else in corruption, if I enter singles tournament, that's going to be for the fans and go for them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And
are you prepared to fight possibly 3 matches in a row for the Inner Geekdom teams and singles title in Spectacular?
Christian was talking to me the other day. It's like, if you beat Shirewolves and you enter the tournament and do well like you've been doing, you could potentially do 3 matches in the same day. There is no, well, you can't do one or this because that's the thing. And I told him, I was like, you know what? Am I allowed to swear in this? I'm sorry, I don't know.
Oh, go right ahead. Fuck everything.
Oh my gosh, we would love for you to do that.
I'm going for it. I have proven this past year that I am not someone to be taken lightly anymore. I put more effort into this than so many people do because I believe in it. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I was like, fuck it. I'll do 3 matches in a day. And all those people that say, like, I can't defend my belt, I can't do this, I can't do that. I was like, fuck it. I'll show them how it's done. I might lose them all in one day, but I'll go out in a blaze of glory, or I'll finally be triple belted. And then after that, I'm going to start watching Star Wars again, and I'll go be the 4th belt guy, Mikey 4 belts. Maybe that's no one wants to talk about Star Wars anymore. Rachel tempted it. She was like, you know what? I might do it. I was like, you know what? It's 10 movies, and I know all the books and stuff that they talk about where you got to know the books and stuff. Like, screw it. I'll go and do Star Wars. It's like, I've shown what I do. I shoot what I do. I said at the beginning of the year, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. Maybe once I have all 3 belts, I'll go for Star Wars then, do 4 belts.
Are you officially calling Alex Damon out? Is that like an official?
I'm not officially that. I got Shirewolves I got to deal with. Let me do that. But It's 10 movies. It's 10 movies. And you guys know when I put my mind to something, what happens. So maybe I will go for Star Wars.
Oh, chat's having a good time. Speaking of the chat having a good time, if you guys have any questions, please fire away.
Fire away. What do you got?
Yeah. So
I want to hear the weird questions.
I'm
I want to get
digging
some
for
weird
it.
questions up in here.
Okay, I can't seem to find it, but there is one question which I think we all need to know. Mike.
I also need to know about Shannon.
Right.
That's what I need to know about.
Actually, okay, Shannon's more important. Shannon's amazing.
Shannon's a glorious goddess. That's what she is. I love her. She inspires me.
I missed everything.
Yeah, well, I was kind of curious, especially it was like when you won that belt up against Koshing for IAG.
Okay.
She was right up there with you. She was celebrating. She was all in it. She's been posting on social media, wearing the corruption shirts, having your back and everything, which is really awesome.
Don't make me cry again. Don't make me cry again.
She's wonderful. She is, obviously. Specifically as a girlfriend of a champion.
Okay.
Yeah. What's that like? What's that training like? I mean, like, is she like quizzing you? Is she training with you? Is she watching? Is she like, oh man, I don't want you to watch Ninja Turtles again for the 50th time? Is she like, you know what? You're not. It's like, why are like? Is she like seeing you on the couch, reading a book, and she's like, why aren't you watching a movie?
No,
I mean, what's that like?
She is 100. She didn't know about, and I'll never forget this. She came. The first match she saw of mine was the 3-way against Rachel and JT. And I was like, can you imagine seeing that? That's your first match of mine. You see how embarrassing that is? I remember grabbing her. I walked off stage. And I remember because Christian was like, Mike, you don't have to leave. Okay, he's going to leave. I grabbed her. I go, I need to get out of here. And she's like, okay. And I wouldn't let her come to see a couple. She wasn't there for the Clark match because that was my next match after that. And I think the next match she came to was maybe Action. Because I was like, let me get a match under my belt. I'm embarrassed by this. But
so it just came down to stop it. Sorry, don't. No, it just came down to like you were so proud of this, but yet so I don't want to say ashamed. I don't want to say that. That's the wrong word to say. But at the same time, it's like you wanted to show yourself after a win to show, be like, hey, I'm awesome. See, I can do this.
Well, it wasn't so much that. It was more of embarrassment. But she is my biggest supporter. She's the best coach that I could ever hope for. She supports it. She watches these movies with me, and as we're watching them, and all of them she watches. Some of them she'll be like, "Nope, not watching this. This is ridiculous." But she'll sit there and go, "Okay, she asked this. Did you write that down? Write this one down." Because that's a good question. She knows the Schmodown. She watches enough to know like that what could be asked. That could be asked. So she's always there. She always quizzes me on the notebook. It's always, hey, let's watch one of your movies. We don't have to go let's stay in tonight. We can watch a movie tonight. You got a match coming up. Last night before the Shire Wolves, the live stream, her and I had some relationship arguments and had, a day of like not really talking to each other. And yesterday I was getting some nerves and stuff. And I could tell something was bothering her. And she's like, Mike, it's not up. No, you and I will always be there. We can deal with our stuff when this match is over. You need to focus. So she put aside our personal stuff that was going on. And it was nothing big. It was stupid stuff. But she was just like, no, we're not important. I'm fine. I love you. We're fine. Let's deal with this match. Let's get that belt for you. And then we'll deal with stuff.
Wait, so can we officially call Shannon?
First, I was like, no, babe, we got to deal with this now. I can't deal with this. I can't be in a crash. Hold on. I'll go find it. Hold on.
Oh, God.
Apparently, she's a bigger motivator than Grace or.
I think you're the first person to get Shannon on an interview.
She's doing some stuff with her girlfriend.
Oh, no.
Mara's match. Mm-hmm. We had I don't know, something happened with us. We had a disagreement about something. And I come home and I was like, and she sends this card to me. She leaves it on the fridge. Can't see it, but it says, never would I not show up for you. Let's win a fucking nerd belt together. Yeah, I love you.
Aww.
Oh my God.
That's relationship goals.
Okay, wait, no.
All day, and I was
fuck like, Roxy, Kaiser, everyone. Shannon is manager of the year. Shannon's amazing.
I didn't know if she was going to show up, so I showed up from work. I had a couple hours before the match. She wasn't here.
Oh.
Technical difficulties.
Shannon's my spirit animal.
I'm just gonna keep this going until he comes back because
Agreed, Jeremiah.
Okay, so Shannon goes Christian after when I brought her out at Comic-Con. He looked at her and saw what she did, and he goes, "I want you in the Schmodown." And she's like, "Nope, not doing it." Like he's like, he joked. He's like, "I want you to. I want you. This will not happen. This is Christian's mind. What he thinks when he sees stuff happen. He goes, I want you to break Mike off from corruption. I want you to you close you better sell them. You don't need them." And she goes, "Absolutely fucking not."
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
They would tear me away. They would tear me apart. They would hate me. She's like, "Christian, shut your mouth. I'm not doing that." And then, so she, I would love her. I would love for her to do it because I know how good she is at it.
Mm-hmm.
I nickname her Petty LaBelle. She could be incredibly petty, about stuff online, and because she's my biggest supporter when people come at me on Facebook and Twitter, and she'll go at them. But I don't know. I don't know if everyone keeps harassing her, maybe she will show up. So we'll see.
My dream match was
Yoko.
Right now with her friends. So.
Well done, Yoko.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh, God. Well,
so wait.
she has to definitely go on here. That's what I needed.
Oh, so we are running short on time. I do want questions. If you guys have them, please fire away. The important one, Brian Nussbaum. So Mike, you're on record not really liking Ben or Guy.
Okay.
Who do you support? I guess you already had Houston, but in general, who do you like more, Andrew Guy or Penny Boy?
As far as supporting of what? Like
in the Schmodown, if they were when they're competing, who would you root for?
If they were playing dodgeball, which team would you go on?
Ooh.
Guy stayed true to his team, man.
And that's why he could be on Action.
This is why Mike is one of us.
You guys then view me as Bateman because I pulled away from DC. Am I more Bateman?
No, because they didn't support you, and that's the issue.
Okay, so it seemed like Bateman saw greener grass and went for that. So, but
is it greener grass because he still can't win a belt?
What's up?
Is it greener grass because he still can't win a belt? Andrew Guy's about to go 7-0 for that title.
No belts. Hashtag Benny no belts.
Hashtag Ben no belts. That's correct.
Ben.
But so I'd have to say Guy. I'd have to side with Guy because he's stuck by it's his team and he didn't leave it. So I'm a little disappointed that I'm wanting to play Guy lately. It just hasn't matched up. I'd want to play both Action team separately.
Well,
but
in theory, you could go against the family in the tournament. Depends what R&B might do with the brackets, but it's possible.
There's a lot of people in the singles tournament that I'm really surprised aren't in there. Guy, Drew, JT, Merkel.
Yeah.
It is an interesting bracket. Very interesting to see what's happening. So and we've got 3 corruption in it. We got myself, Stacy, and Chance going at it. So there is I want all those belts in my faction.
Okay.
That would be phenomenal. I don't think any faction has ever had all 3 belts. They've never had it. And whether I have all 3 of them, if Chance or Stacy can get singles belt, let's do it. Let's go for it.
So I have 2 more questions. This is the second to last one.
Go for it.
Do you have any weird pre-match superstitions?
I wear the same black suit to championship matches. I don't know if you noticed that. And I didn't do that on purpose. Usually I wear the black jacket with the corruption shirt. But I was debating. I brought both to Comic-Con, and it was Smets. I go, "What do you think, buddy? What should I go?" Because we had a shared dressing room. He's like, "What do you win it? Or what do you win? What did you win the belt in?" And I said, "The black jacket and black shirt." He's like, "That's what you wear." So that is pre-match superstition. I like to get backstage and just kind of get in my head. I just like to put some music in, and I stand backstage. I do some extra stuff, like breathing stuff to get my mind focused.
But not like Roca.
No, not like Roca.
I remember the pictures came out when he did it.
He just sits in the corner listening to weird music.
I'm similar to it. Jason Inman. It was before my Mara match. He saw me kind of getting overworked, and he taught me a breathing exercise. So I do that before every match.
Mm-hmm.
I usually pick the same number.
For clarification, you are from Florida, correct?
I grew up in Florida. I'm originally born in upstate New York, but I'm in Florida.
So this leads into our final question from Will McLean.
Yep.
Would you consider Orlando a hometown match? So when you win the singles tournament and face off in Orlando for that finale.
We win, and in Orlando then? Yeah, Florida. That's our hometown. I spent 10 years in Orlando working there, and Disney and Universal Studios. So yeah, that's a hometown for me.
Okay.
Either that or upstate New York. So I would definitely say. I grew up in Florida. I lived there for 26 years, so that's my hometown. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that would be a homecoming kind of match in my town. So.
All right. So we do have a hard out. We need to get out right now because we are having. So everyone in the live chat, just for reference, the second this ends, give it a minute or two, we will have the full call to action episode live with Chandru versus Jared Habon, as well as everything Mike did today, with special guest Albert Weird Harma, I believe is his last name.
Call to Asian.
Special call to Asian special, yes. So we do have to sign out. Mr. Kalinowski, Mr. KO Killer.
Yes, guys.
Where can people find you online?
I'm at Mike Kalinowski at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook group. Come join Corruption if you guys are, Action Army so inclined. Come on over. We actually don't know because we do training in that. Get the hell out of here. Don't come in our group. It's private. That's another thing. Shannon, she goes, Mike, what the fuck are you doing, Mike? Your Corruption page is public. Anyone can look at it. Chance and you have 400 questions that the group is asking you, and I was like, oh shit. So it's private now. So don't come in that group.
Okay, great.
But Twitter, go to Twitter. I love Twitter. I love going on Twitter. That's my big social media platform.
Mike Kalinowski, the only man who likes Twitter.
What? Is that like an old person thing?
No, because it's just full of trolls.
Twitter stuff.
I did. Some guy that's talking to me about Shazam, and it was ridiculous today. And his logic, I'm like, it's like batting my head against the wall talking to some of these people online. But I do. But the great people on Twitter are awesome. So.
Yeah. And speaking of banging your heads against the wall, Nat will be on for the third time today. Very quickly, we do have to sign out just to get this episode going. So, Action Army, we salute you. Goodbye, everybody. Mike Kalinowski, # Mikey3Belts.
Bye, guys.
We'll talk to you next time.
See you guys.
Thank you.
And then we get 10 seconds of this shutting down because it takes forever.